Their ancestors were the first vertebrates to colonize dry land. They inhabit every continent except Antarctica. But their world is rapidly changing. "20 species call this city home. What were once their wetlands are now our playgrounds. Golf courses, racetracks, urban development. This is the land to which they cling. Around the world, frog populations are in decline, and time is running out." It's late August in Cape Town, on the southwestern tip of Africa. This is the winter rainy season. Clouds gathering over Table Mountain herald a coming storm. The promise of rain is a signal for one of the city's most threatened inhabitants to move. A western leopard toad emerges from her daytime haunt. She's not alone. Another appears from a pile of firewood. Across the city, the entire population is on the move. These striking toads are explosive breeders. But they only have a limited 2-week window in which to mate. So tonight, everyone's heading to their nearest pond to get a piece of the action. But a perilous journey lies ahead. As many as 1 in 5 may die. Humans continue to destroy much of the toad's natural habitat. Now the wetlands they need to breed are few and far between. The roads they must cross teem with vehicles. When cars meet frogs, there's only one winner. The rains have spurred another city inhabitant into action. Cape rain frogs are calling. These endemic frogs only live in 2 small areas in the southern Cape of South Africa. Cape rain frogs live underground to prevent dehydration, venturing out to hunt and mate only on misty or wet nights. Unlike the leopard toads, they don't need standing water to breed because they don't have free-swimming tadpoles like most other frogs. They can't even swim properly. As far as frogs go, Cape rain frogs are also not what you'd call athletic. Both sexes are chubby with short limbs, which creates a problem. Many male frogs climb onto females' backs to mate in what scientists call amplexus. From this position, they fertilize the eggs externally. But female rain frogs are too plump, and his arms are too short. So to overcome the challenge, they both secrete a special glue onto their skin, allowing the male to stick to the female's back. She doesn't seem to mind her overly clingy partner. Despite the night's exertions, she's still got other appetites. A juicy earthworm does just the trick. Nothing like a little romance to fuel your hunger. From his piggyback position, the male fertilizes her eggs externally as she lays them underground. The tadpoles develop in a jelly egg mass and emerge as miniature versions of their parents a month or so later. Frogs are amphibians, an ancient group of animals descended from the first vertebrates to venture out of the water 400 million years ago. Even today, most amphibians have one foot on dry land and the other in water. While they're able to live and breathe in air, most lay their eggs in standing water, where they hatch into tadpoles. In some species, these are decidedly fish-like. The earliest known frogs evolved during the reign of the dinosaurs in the early Jurassic, 200 million years ago. From these earliest beginnings, frogs have diversified into more than 6,000 different species across all continents, with the exception of Antarctica. Frogs occur in all shapes and colors. The smallest can happily sit on a human thumbnail, while giant bullfrogs can grow 10 inches long and weigh 4.5 pounds. Large warty frogs tend to be called toads. But this is confusing because using the terms frogs and toads is like saying birds and eagles. All toads are frogs. This habit dates from Victorian times. The UK only has 6 species of native frogs, 3 of which are in the toad family. Because of this, the superfluous habit developed of referring to toads and frogs as if they were distinct. And when it comes to frog names, people have been somewhat predictable. The micro frog is tiny. Giant bullfrogs are massive. The rain frog comes out in the rain. Clicking stream frogs click. And shovel-nosed frogs have an unfortunately proportioned schnoz. At least it's good for digging. As far as the naming stakes go, leopard toads have it lucky, thanks to their beautiful yellow and brown camouflage. But appearance isn't all that's important. Frog skin is an incredible organ in its own right. While frogs have well-developed lungs for breathing air, they've also retained the ability to breathe through their moist skins when underwater. Some species have even evolved toxic secretions from the glands in their skin to dissuade predators. These often have startling colors to warn hunters to stay clear, sometimes bordering on the absurd, such as these mantellas, only found on the island of Madagascar. Others are secretly toxic. When threatened by predators, leopard toads secrete a white milky toxin from the lumpy glands behind their eyes. This is seldom lethal to the attacker, but can cause significant discomfort. Back in the suburbs of Cape Town, the male leopard toads have gathered at the ponds. These now reverberate with deep, low-frequency calls. Casanovas calling for their lovers. With few exceptions, frogs vocalize to call for mates. Vibrating vocal cords make the sound, which is then amplified by the special balloon-like pouch on the throat. If only human females found the sound of snoring so deeply attractive. Emerging from urban gardens, the female leopard toads all have one thing on their mind. Hopping out of the undergrowth, they're following their instincts. The female is returning to the pool where she was spawned. Year in and year out, her routine doesn't change. Though new obstacles may arise, but this cat has encountered toads before and knows better than to take a bite. She moves on. Having survived the cat, she now makes a crucial error. Swimming pools are giant traps from which there is no escape. Falling into the sheer-sided pool is a death sentence. Unable to escape, she'll soon tire and drown. Luckily for her, tonight there's a helping hand to set her back on her way. She moves through the driveway and towards the gate. The first part of this female's journey is over. But this is only the end of the beginning. Frogs most often live alongside water in moist conditions in the tropics. But they can actually be found in almost every habitat. The last place you'd expect to find a frog is the desert coastline of South Africa. Yet here in the semi-arid regions of the west coast, one species has adapted to the rigors of desert life. As night approaches, barking geckos serenade the sunset. Reptiles such as this seem right at home here. So is the surprisingly hardy desert rain frog. Like his relatives further south, these frogs also are not athletic. And like the Cape rain frogs, they're capable of living and breeding in the absence of standing water. After a night of hunting, dawn approaches. He finds a suitable spot and buries himself under the sand. He'll stay here all day, cool and damp and safe from the baking heat of the desert sun. "1,200 miles to the east and 1.5 miles above sea level, conditions are very different on the summit of the Drakensberg Mountains. Here, rivers surge off the sheer slopes. And winter temperatures drop way below freezing. Streams ice up. And yet even here, frogs endure. Maluti river frogs. This is the only place in the world they're found, despite the cold. When the temperature plummets and the surface of streams freezes, the frogs survive in the warmer water under the ice. Up here, sunshine can also cause a problem. Harmful UV radiation at high altitudes is intense. To counter this, these frogs effectively wear sunglasses. A growth called an umbraculum covers part of the eye, protecting the retina inside. Whether they live in deserts, mountains, or streams, frogs are most active in misty and rainy conditions. On the mountains skirting Cape Town, Rose's mountain toadlets are also breeding. The small mountain pools are full of eggs and tadpoles. Unlike the leopard toads, these little frogs are silent. They're the only species in South Africa which go about their business without so much as a peep. At the mountain's feet, hundreds of flat, dainty frog couples are locked in loving embrace. Unlike their silent mountain cousins, they're in full voice. It's early in the evening, and the females haven't started to lay yet. But over the next few hours, the pool will be swimming in frogs' eggs. Frogs' eggs are good food for fish and even insects. So the kloof frogs in the province of KwaZulu-Natal in the east of the country have evolved a cunning strategy to help reduce the threat. Rather than laying their eggs in water, they lay their brood on leaves or branches above water in a sticky jelly. Over the next week, they develop. From newly laid eggs to jelly baby-like embryos with external gills to recognizable tadpoles. After about 6 days, these will hatch and drop into the water. But this individual's nest has a problem. The branch has fallen into the stream, and the predators are at the ready. Water scorpions, named for their superficial resemblance to their terrestrial namesakes. But they're insects, not arachnids, and are more closely related to aphids. The water scorpion pierces an egg with his needle-like mouthparts and proceeds to suck out the contents. Frogs are not the only group of animals breeding. A colony of weaver birds is also busy with its own preparations for the coming season. Males busily advertise their woven creations, hoping to win the affections of a female. They're a noisy bunch. So too are the frogs below. While most frogs prefer to romance their partners in the dark, these raucous toads are more audacious. They breed day or night. Hidden in the reeds, this male is calling in a small dam on the outskirts of Cape Town. But he's not alone. The shallows are full of couples. As the females lay their eggs, the males fertilize them externally in the water. It's a veritable orgy. But not every lid finds its pot. And this lone male watches in frustration as everyone else gets lucky. Maybe tomorrow will be his day. Or he'll have to wait another year to get his shot. Female raucous toads lay approximately 10,000 eggs in long jelly strings. Other local species can lay as many as 25,000. Over the coming week, remarkable changes will take place under the surface. Throughout history, frogs have played an important role in human mystery and legend. They were a sign of fertility and resurrection for the ancient Egyptians. And so frogs were folded into the bandages used to wrap mummies. Medieval doctors in Europe used frogs in all sorts of treatments, ranging from nosebleeds to diarrhea. European fairy tales transform a lowly frog into a handsome prince, simply with a maiden's kiss. Perhaps these legends have their roots in the magical transformation that all frogs undergo as they metamorphose from egg to adult. Frogs that lay their eggs in water tend to hide them among the plants on the edges of ponds and streams to reduce their chance of getting eaten by fish. When they hatch, they emerge looking nothing like their adults. This pool is full of African clawed frog tadpoles. For all the world, they look like fish. They breathe with gills and are herbivores with a long intestine. This species filters food from the water. As they grow, they undergo dramatic changes. Their intestine shortens and changes from being suited to a predominantly herbivorous diet to an adult one that's carnivorous. Little mouths grow into wide, bony mouths. Gills give way to lungs. Legs slowly appear. Tails shrink. And the eyes grow big and bulbous, all in preparation for the water-land duality that is their adult life. Most frogs are carnivores. This adult African clawed frog is lurking in the shallows. He enjoys a varied diet, ranging from fish to other frogs, and even plankton, and spends most of his time in the water. Well-developed webbed hind feet help him swim. He can see the plankton in the water, but relies more on his sense of smell to pick off the minuscule crustaceans. The rains have brought him an unexpected windfall. An earthworm, washed from its burrow, has fallen into the pond. It's a sizable meal. But worms can be tricky to swallow if you're not used to them. Eventually, he's successful, and he returns to his lair to digest his meal. Although frogs can be voracious predators, they're more often on the receiving end. A brown water snake is on the prowl. He's looking for an easy meal. And frogs are definitely on his menu. But they take some catching. Powerful hind legs propel the amphibians from danger. But the snake's not one to give up in a hurry. Success. The meal should last the brown water snake several days. A green water snake is also looking for his share of the spoils. He knows that the rain triggers frog activity. He's an expert frog predator. But the rains have woken a sleeping giant. A giant bullfrog emerges from his underground burrow. He's spent the dry season estivating, or lying dormant underground. His long 5-month sleep has left him hungry. So the first thing on his agenda is food. Giants like this eat a range of prey, including insects, frogs, mice, and even snakes. Hunters can easily turn into the hunted in the topsy-turvy underworld. With his appetite sated, the bullfrog can now turn to other pressing matters. He knows the rain means many females will also be out and about. Back in the city, the female leopard toad is still on the move, drawn by her crooning suitors. But crossing busy roads is a life and death adventure. And many of the others don't make it. Despite the danger, the females have no choice. They must go on if they are to breed successfully. She makes it. As leopard toad numbers in Cape Town have declined alarmingly, people across the city have responded. Signs warn motorists to be on the lookout for toads. And groups of volunteers, whimsically calling themselves toad nuts, patrol the roads. They lay temporary toad fences along busy thoroughfares, channeling toads into traps so they can gather them up and release them safely. Cape Town is a marble cake of urban and natural environments. Table Mountain National Park stands proud as the green heart of one of the world's most beautiful cities. It contains a rich diversity of flora and fauna, including one of the rarest frogs in Africa, the Table Mountain ghost frog. This critically endangered species lives in 6 small ravines on the eastern slopes of the mountain. These frogs are specially adapted to the rigors of living in the fast-flowing water rushing off the mountain. Sucker-like mouthparts help them stick to the rock in cascading torrents. They only live here, on the slopes of Table Mountain, which makes them extremely vulnerable to any habitat loss. Yet even here, in their protected environment, the populations of ghost frogs are under threat from the historical reservoirs that were built to supply parts of the city with water. These decrease the flow in the river, which can be devastating for the frogs. The recent dramatic decline in local frog populations has not gone unnoticed. Scientists now monitor vulnerable species in the vicinity of Cape Town and have put in place active conservation measures to protect the most endangered frogs. Wetlands such as this one in the center of Cape Town's Kenilworth Racecourse are carefully protected and monitored. This is the last known haunt in the city of a tiny endangered species called the micro frog. The rest of their wetland homes have been paved over. Ironically, the desire to watch horse races here at Kenilworth meant that the infield area was kept clear of invasive trees, which inadvertently saved the wetlands and protected the microfrogs. If it weren't for the racecourse, they would now be locally extinct. While ghost frogs, microfrogs, and leopard toads are threatened, one of the city's residents has become surprisingly cosmopolitan: the African clawed frog. During the 1930s, scientists realized they could use these frogs for the world's first pregnancy test. Urine from a pregnant woman contains high levels of certain hormones. And if this is injected into a female African clawed frog, it triggers the frog to spawn, clearly indicating that the woman is pregnant. Once this was discovered, African clawed frogs were bred and transported around the world. They also became popular pets. They're capable of surviving in a range of different habitats. So as these frogs invariably escaped or were released, they established themselves in the wilds of South America, North America, and Europe. And in their home country, these native frogs have invaded new habitats. But one place that isn't to their liking is the Cape. The waters here are darker and more acidic, bad for African clawed frogs, but good for Cape platanas. Unfortunately, as the water quality of many ponds has changed with urban development, so the African clawed frog has spread, displacing and interbreeding with the Cape platanas. This species is now extremely threatened, and few places with pure populations remain. Scientists regularly monitor the frogs. By scanning embedded microchips, researchers gain information on their population viability, movements, and mortality rates. It also allows them to check for unwanted African clawed frogs and remove any hybrids. Hopefully, this will help keep the Cape platana species alive. Around the world, fragile populations of frogs are only just holding on against all odds. including some of the most flamboyant characters of the natural world. Whether they wear Liberace-style cloaks or drab Dickensian greens and browns, they're under threat. Now their fate often lies in human hands. Samaritans that brave the cold and wet to ward off extinction. After a long, stressful night, the female leopard toad has finally made it. As she enters the water, she joins many others, swimming in search of their singing mates. The danger is over for them. In the coming days, they will find partners and lay thousands of eggs in the water, ensuring that for now, another generation of western leopard toads will emerge. And snore the city to sleep on wet August nights for many years to come. Elephants are one of Africa's most iconic species. But in the last century, their population numbers have dropped sharply due to poaching. Yet there is hope for these grey giants. Two conservation tales are unfolding in the forests of Tembe and the thickets of Addo Elephant Park. These places offer an intimate look into the complex and compelling lives of the world's largest land animal. From a continent with many tales to tell, this is an elephant story. On the east coast of South Africa, not far from the Indian Ocean, lies a lush land of subtropical forests. Here, giants move like ghosts between the trees. Glimpses of their hulking frames come and go. Until they emerge from the forest, suddenly close enough to count the wrinkles on their skin. These are some of the biggest elephants in Africa. They live in Tembe Elephant Park, a place of towering trees and large stretches of woodland and savanna, providing shade, security, and most importantly, food. This group is one of the main breeding herds in the park. It's made up of 15 females and their young. Like all elephants, they have colossal appetites, with individuals eating between 4 and 6% of their body weight daily. That's well over 2 tons of food consumed by this herd every day. Collecting this much food takes time, and the herd spends 16 hours a day feeding. Luckily, Tembe Elephant Park has ample vegetation for the hungry herbivores. It also provides other essential amenities for the elephants living here. This is the pachyderm version of a spa treatment. A mud bath fit for a king. No other land animal on the planet can match an adult male elephant in size. Standing 4 meters tall and weighing over 5 tons, this mighty bull is well on his way to being one of the biggest elephants in the park. His name is Zakade, which means he who takes a long time to arrive, in the African language of Venda. He's 25 years old and at the beginning of mature adulthood. His ivory tusks, already several feet long, will continue to grow until he reaches 60. One day they may even earn him the illustrious title of a tusker, which is the name given to bull elephants with exceptionally large ivory. But his tusks are a curse as well as a blessing, for they mean there is a price on his head. In Africa, more than 100 elephants are killed every day for their ivory, meat, and body parts. Bulls with big tusks are the main target for poachers. Today, there are fewer than 40 tuskers left in the whole of Africa. Many of them are found here in Tembe Elephant Park. Located in the far east corner of South Africa, Tembe was created as a haven for elephants affected by the violence of the Mozambique Civil War during the 1970s. During the war, the animals came under attack. Poachers killed them for their ivory, which they then sold to fuel the fighting. Those that were able to escape did so by taking refuge in these dense forests. The area was later protected and now forms part of the 1,655 square kilometer elephant reserve. Those that did survive carried excellent genes. Tembe Elephant Park is now considered one of the best places in Africa to see a big tusker. There is another reserve with a different but equally important elephant conservation story in South Africa. Addo Elephant Park is located in the coastal region of the Eastern Cape, 1,300 kilometers from Tembe. While Tembe's elephants are famous for their big tusks, Addo's elephant population is noted for quite the opposite. Many of the elephants in Addo have no tusks at all. The reason for this goes back to the beginnings of Addo's history. Hundreds of years ago, before Europeans arrived in Africa, the area that is now Addo was wilderness, where elephants roamed free in large numbers. In the 1900s, colonial farmers arrived and put down roots. Their crops were soon raided by the resident elephants, and conflict between man and beast escalated quickly. The farmers called for the government to exterminate the elephants, which they considered pests. A man named Major Pretorius was hired for this gruesome task. He shot and killed 92 elephants in under a year. Thankfully, the slaughter was called off before he could finish the job. By the mid-1900s, there were just 12 African elephants left in the Eastern Cape region. In 1931, forward-thinking conservationists set aside 2,023 hectares as a sanctuary for the last remaining elephants. This was the inception of Addo Elephant Park. Now, 85 years later, the population has boomed to over 600 elephants in what's now the third largest national park in South Africa, covering 180,000 hectares. The elephants of Addo are marked by their history. Today, only 5% of Addo's female elephants have tusks, and the males have much smaller tusks than those in places like Tembe. That's because the 12 elephants that survived Major Pretorius's cull had small tusks, or no tusks at all. All the elephants that live here today are thus descendants of the first 12. It's a stark reminder of how close they came to being completely wiped out. Besides the issue of smaller or non-existent tusks, the elephants of Addo are perfectly healthy, and they continue to breed and grow in number. It's a success story born out of adversity that now points towards a viable new model for elephant conservation in Africa. To understand why the conservation of Africa's iconic elephants is so important, we need to look back to an Africa before modern man. Elephants have existed in Africa for 5 million years. They are wide-ranging and highly adaptable, found across a variety of habitats. From the lush wetlands of the Okavango Delta to the dry and barren wastelands of the Namib Desert, and many places in between. They've been present on the African savannas throughout mankind's evolution. Drawings of elephants are even found in ancient rock art, dating as far back as 30,000 years. These depictions often show them being hunted by early man. Indeed, we have a long and blood-stained history with elephants. Over time, arrows became bullets, and the lust for ivory skyrocketed. Developing cities and farmlands further reduced elephant migration routes and ranges. In a few hundred years, the elephant population declined drastically. From an estimated 27 million in the beginning of the 19th century, there were just 410,000 wild elephants left in Africa in 2012. It's a grim picture. But it does not tell the whole story. We are now at a turning point in elephant conservation in South Africa. On the thicket-covered hills of Addo Elephant Park, this family of elephants is living proof that in some places, populations are booming. In Addo, elephant numbers are actually doubling every 13 years. Over the decades, researchers here have come to know all the elephants in Addo. They are able to identify individuals by the shape of their tusks and the scars and holes in their ears. This is one of 6 major families in Addo. Like all the herds, it's made up of related females and led by a matriarch. She is the oldest and wisest of the herd. It's her job to keep them safe. She must make difficult decisions on a daily basis. Where to go in search of food and water, and when to flee from danger. To do this, she draws on her years of experience and knowledge she learned from her mother. The bulls are more independent, preferring a mostly solitary existence. When they do meet other bulls, it's often to test one another through competitions of strength. In this way, the bulls in an area like Addo get to know each other, learning through experience where they sit in the hierarchy of size and power. But regardless of age, size, or sex, all the elephants of Addo share the same voracious appetites. Elephants make a massive impact on their environment in their search for food. The combination of their mass, intelligence, and power makes them destructive feeders. An adult elephant can tear down a large tree with ease, using its immense strength and bulk to crack and splinter wood. In Addo, the impact of their feeding habits is clearly visible. In places, whole parts of the succulent thickets that should cover the landscape are gone. This loss is a concern. Many plant species in Addo are found nowhere else in the world. It's the double-edged sword of elephant conservation in South Africa. Maintaining viable populations of elephants threatens the safety of endemic plant species. Luckily, there is an abundant and fast-growing plant in Addo that the elephants love. The speckboom bush is a common succulent species with juicy green leaves that are high in moisture and mineral content. It's such an elephant favorite that the Afrikaans name for the plant is olifantskos, elephant's food. Speckboom is an indigenous icon of Addo, growing naturally in vast swathes throughout the park. It also has other benefits besides being elephant fodder. Speckboom is incredibly good at reducing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, with recent studies suggesting that it's 100 times more effective in carbon capture than a pine tree of the same size. Another elephant favorite in Addo is actually an alien species. This breeding herd has found a grove of prickly pears. The spiky cactus originates in the Americas, but grows so well in the South African climate that it is now considered an invasive plant. This is no problem for the elephants, and the prickly pear's sharp spines offer little resistance to their grinding molars. As the elephants eat, they smash whole trees of the invasive plant. The result is cactus carnage. These elephants are unwittingly acting as alien species eradication officers. Elephant conservation may have its challenges, but it also has unexpected benefits. Elephants are considered an umbrella species because by protecting them, we also protect large areas of wilderness and all the creatures that live there. Big and small. The flightless dung beetle was once widespread in South Africa. Today it lives in isolated populations, of which Addo's is the largest. This little character is intimately linked to the elephant and does a great deal of good for the environment with a bit of strength and a lot of tenacity. The beetle is a tireless recycler of nutrients back into the ecosystem. But when it comes time to breed, it's the female that does the heavy lifting. She makes a ball of dung that will be the home to her fertilized egg. Building the brood ball is the easy part. Finding a suitable place to bury it is more of a challenge. The ball is hundreds of times heavier than the beetle. Even moving a few centimeters can be incredibly difficult. Yet she soldiers on. She's got a long way to go. The ground is filled with obstacles. Heaving the ball takes gargantuan strength. Yet the dung beetle can perform this incredible feat, as it is the strongest insect in the world. Finally, she clears the hurdle and can roll her ball off to bury it. The dung beetle is an attentive mother by insect standards. But her commitment is nothing compared to that of an elephant mother's. Family is the core of elephant life. This herd in Addo is led by one of the oldest elephants in the park. At 60 years old, the matriarch is ancient. She's been a successful mother. The herd is made up of her many adult daughters and grandchildren. While her daughters and granddaughters will stay with her for their entire lives, her sons have left for a life outside of the herd. The young bull calves still with her will one day follow suit. It's the way of elephant life. These young bulls in Tembe have all recently left their families. They push and shove one another, acting much like an unruly gang of teenage boys. Male elephants reach sexual maturity at about 12 years old, at which time they separate from their families. Sticking together in a bachelor herd offers company in their early years of independence. They, like all elephants, communicate much through touch. Using their trunks, they subtly feel each other's strength or show affection. Off to the side of the watering hole, two males stand together. Their tenderness towards each other tells of a special bond. Perhaps they were from the same herd, or are even brothers. Bachelor herds are common among elephant populations across Africa. They are an indication that there are plenty of healthy young males in the area. In times before human settlements, the bulls would have roamed hundreds of kilometers to stake out new territories of their own. But for the bulls of Addo and Tembe, space is limited. And sometimes this can prove deadly. There are over 250 bull elephants in Addo. Each of them has a ranking in the dominance hierarchy, decided through tests of strength and aggression. Because they don't have the option of dispersing naturally, competition between bulls for mating rights is more intense. In Addo, the primary cause of mortality in adult males is fighting to the death. Luckily, this is just a skirmish. Because of the potentially deadly nature of meeting an adversary, the older bulls of Addo often avoid each other, choosing to feed alone and visit the waterholes at different times of day. There are a few bulls in Addo that rule the top ranks due to their size and power. This is one of them. His name is John Kruger. He was named by researchers after being brought to Addo from Kruger National Park to broaden the gene pool of Addo's elephant population. Today he's traveling with one of Addo's breeding herds. There's a reason the normally solitary bull is seeking company. He's here because one of the females is in estrus, which means she will soon be at her most fertile. If she accepts him, he will stay with her until she is ready to mate, fulfilling his destiny and bringing diversity to Addo's elephant gene pool. Genetic diversity is one of the greatest challenges for elephant populations confined to reserve areas. The successful relocation and mating of John Kruger is a major victory in the story of modern elephant conservation. In Tembe, the big bull known as Zakade is also looking to pass on his genes. But he's got a different strategy for finding a mate. He'll wait at the waterhole and let them come to him. He's joined by a younger bull, but Zakade is too distracted to care. His desire to mate is strong right now. He's in an annual condition known as must. Must is a heightening of the testosterone levels of a bull, which increases the drive to breed. It also makes them more aggressive. This in turn makes them more dangerous and temporarily gives them a higher position in the dominance hierarchy. The telltale signs of must include a streak of fluid on the side of the head and the constant dribbling of urine down the hind legs. He's also giving off a pungent, musky odor. But his elephant cologne attracts no attention from the breeding herd, who have just arrived and are more interested in drinking than his amorous odor. Zakade moves around the waterhole, testing the air for the subtle smell of pheromones. He's smelling to see if any of the cows are ready to mate. Scent is very important to elephant communication. Their trunk is actually a long prehensile nose and is extremely sensitive. Zakade's out of luck today. There are no females in estrus. He settles for a drink instead. The most recently born calf in Tembe is also at the waterhole. Born less than 6 months ago, he weighs only 100 kilograms now, but may one day grow into a 6-ton giant. Together, he and Zakade represent the full cycle of life for these majestic mammals. Slowly, the cows and their young start to move off, while the big bull chooses a direction of his own. Another male arrives after the last of the herd have left. At 17 years old, his solitary adult life has just begun. Soon he'll hit a growth spurt that will last until he's 25. In these years, he'll get much bigger and stronger. His tusks will also continue to grow. In 10 years, he'll be ready to challenge bulls like Zakade for one of the top spots in Tembe. While Tembe's woodlands provide extensive cover from the sun, In Addo, the elephants have few places to hide from the heat. It drives all the families towards the waterhole and offers a chance to see the park's conservation success in full force. Today it seems as if all of the herds are arriving at the water at the same time. One after another, the elephant families pour in. Some of the youngsters are so excited, they do the last stretch at a run. Elephants can drink up to 200 liters of water a day, and this waterhole is the only one in the area big enough to accommodate all these massive thirsts. The visit to the waterhole is not only important for drinking and catching up with old friends, it also allows for another daily ritual: a good splattering. The elephants cover themselves liberally in water and mud. This helps protect their surprisingly sensitive skin from the harsh sun, as well as trapping ticks and parasites when the mud dries. The adults are able to aim their mudslinging with remarkable accuracy, landing each trunkful on a different part of the body. Youngsters, however, haven't quite mastered the 150,000 odd muscles in their trunks. That will come in time. From the distance, a massive figure emerges. It's Addo's most dominant bull. His name is Terry, and he's 34 years old, at the zenith of his physical prime. He was named by the resident elephant researchers in Addo, who can easily identify him by the large hole in his ear, which is likely a war wound from fighting with another bull. Maybe it was even this battle that secured him the top spot on Addo's dominance rank. Whatever the case, he is now considered the most powerful bull of all, and is treated with respect. Terry has come for more than a drink and a shower today. Once he's freshened up, he moves over to a young cow. Even though she's fully grown, he towers over her. He can smell that she's fertile right now, and he's eager to get to know her better. There are other bulls hanging around, and he doesn't want her to wander off. He herds her gently with his tusks. Now he's made his intentions clear. And she reciprocates the interest with a playful nudge. With her head between his huge ivories, they move slowly off. This is the last phase of their courtship ritual. A bull elephant's penis is normally enclosed in a sheath, then released for urination and mating. Because of its substantial proportions, it is often referred to in Africa as an elephant's fifth leg. Elephant mating is an astounding sight, not often captured on camera. It's the consummation of the complex circle of life for the world's largest land mammals. The cow now carries the seed of the biggest bull in the territory, and her future offspring is ensured the best possible start to life. Slowly, the families begin to disperse. With thirsts quenched and desires sated, the elephants can go back to the rolling green hills. They will meet again, one day soon. By studying the African elephant, we are afforded a compelling look into the life of another of Earth's most intelligent mammals. As a species, they still hold many secrets, and scientists are just scratching the surface of understanding how their communication and social lives work. They are the most powerful land mammals on the planet. Yet they need our help. Poaching and habitat loss have put their future in jeopardy. But parks like Addo and Tembe are examples of how we can turn the tide. The story of the African elephant is one of great beauty and sadness. It's also a story of hope, where the final chapters have yet to be written. How it ends is up to us.